drinks, we drink beer and beer and beer, beer, beer.
Yeah,
no
baby.
Or girly drinks, we drink beer and beer and beer, beer, beer. No champagne or girly drinks, we drink beer and beer and beer, beer, beer. No
yeah, baby.
or girly drinks, we drink beer and beer and beer, beer, beer.
All right, JT, hopefully you can hear me now. And don't know what that was all about, but there was something wrong with the audio. So hopefully you guys can hear me coming through. JT, thank you very much, sir, for acknowledging that. Thank you as well, Brandon. Cheers. And Rusty in the house. All right, all right. Well, yeah, my voice mod was doing something weird there. I don't know what it was doing, but didn't have everything coming through. Gotta love technology, right? Especially when it doesn't work. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And we got Josh in the house. Last beer. What is happening, buddy? Cheers. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. So as I was saying, but which you guys couldn't hear, 9 years, going back to March 10th, 2015, started the channel. So here we are in 2024. Didn't know I would go this long when I initially started this. Didn't know how long I was going. Didn't really set a date to kind of target, but it's definitely been a fun ride along the way, and a lot of great friends met, a lot of great beers drank, and a shout out to Matt there from Massive as well. Cheers, my friend. And Matt's one of those OGs. Matt was doing before I was doing, so he was one of the first people I was actually watching when I got up on here. So kudos to you. Always got some great things on his channel, some great introspect on some of the beers he's actually doing. So if you haven't checked out Matt from Massive, make sure to do so. And because it is St. Patrick's Day, well, tomorrow is actually St. Patrick's Eve, but everybody's kind of celebrating today since nobody really wants to go to work with a hangover on Monday, I take it. I had to throw in a little bit of green with the drink beer, live happily, and picked up the Guinness Extra Stout only because I grabbed it from the corner store, and this was the most Irish of any beer they actually had there. So they didn't have a big selection, so I just went ahead and grabbed that. Shane, cheers, my friend. Thank you. I know you were heading to work tonight. Sorry I couldn't get on yours last night. I had a couple things that kind of ran longer than expected, so appreciate you popping in to say hi, and going to be looking to watch that video as well as the Chuggy Award video. So if y'all haven't checked out Shane's craft beer review, check Shane out, as they have now opened up nominations for the Chuggy Awards that they give for YouTube beer tubers. Pretty fun stuff. And I got to watch that, got to vote on that. And I also got to vote on the Craft Beer Marketing Awards, which I've started looking at this weekend. So second year in a row, one of the judges for that takes place in April down in Vegas. Debated maybe trying to go at the end of the month, but not sure yet. But this year I have two categories, went up from one category. So I guess they liked me from last year. They said, hey, here's another one for you. So I'm doing, I believe was one of like the best premise off off-site marketing, I believe, and then social media use for the breweries. So that's kind of cool. So they recognize, I guess, some of the social media stuff I did and asked me to look into that category. So that'll be awesome. JT says, drinking a double dry hop Nelson Hero by Revolution in honor of your anniversary. Well, thank you very much. And can't go wrong with Revolution. Always some pretty good beers for sure. Samson, what's up, my friends? Been a while. Cheers with the big W. What a big win for Wisconsin today over Purdue. I actually watched that game. That was awesome on their part for sure. And they can play. So I don't know. Purdue, outside of their center, they struggle. They're hot and cold, and I don't know how far they're going to get in the tournament. They should be one of the top teams because he crushes in the middle, but Wisconsin took him down today. About to crack MC Ghost Paris EQ collab. Oh, very nice. You know, I always see those ghosts. Well, I'm thinking of Ghost in the Machine beers. I need to actually try those at some point, but that's something different than what you're actually having there. And Shane says cheers to JT as well. So I'm going to crack open this beer because 1, I'm thirsty, and 2, it is a beer show, so I should drink some beer, right? And kind of just talking about some of the stuff over the years. And I was saying before when the sound wasn't working, not sure how long I may do it tonight. We'll see what happens. We may have some people maybe that want to pop by or jump up here or some stuff like that, and might take a look back at some of the old videos from back in the day where it kind of all started and kind of talk about that. Or if you guys want topics you want to talk about from some of the beer world, feel free to let me know in the comments because I have no set agenda right now. It's just here on a Saturday night. It's like Saturday Night Starcade, 1985. Cheers, everybody. The Guinness Extra Stout. Again, I could have got the foreign extra stout. I just realized that one corner store does have that at 4-packs. I don't know what I was thinking. Just slipped my mind. I just realized that. But this will do. This will do for now. So there we go. Let me see here. Yeah, I got 22 4-packs of Ghost in the Machine and Rev the Coffee. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I see the Ghost in the Machine. I just had never picked it up. I actually need to just to get that one crossed off the list because it is on the list. Hey, what's happening, Alex? I'm doing well. Hopefully you are as well. Him and BJ are hanging out at a brewery. Appreciate you. Cheer. Yes, I saw some of the touring. So Alex and BJ are visiting various breweries around the Garden State. So check out Alex the Beer Master if you want to see some of the breweries they're hitting through this fine day. They are brewery hopping. The 23 Sukaba from Firestone. Yeah, I still got the I think it's the 2023 to 2022. Did they come out with 2023 Parabola? If not, I got this 2022 and 2021. And I think it's the 2023 I got. I'd have to look at my thing. Actually, I can look on my phone. I still need to drink those at some point too. I guess I haven't even drank my Bourbon Counties yet. When I say I do have a lot of beer, I do have a lot of beer. As we all probably run into it that do these YouTube channels, we always have beer around, that's for sure. It's funny, I see some of the unboxings people are doing, and I'm like, I'm actually happy not to have an unboxing right now because I'm just trying to get through what I actually do have. So let me see, Firestone. All right, so I got the 2022 Parabola, and I think it's I must be the 2021 I have as well. I've also still got one of the double DBAs from the Batch 10,000 from Firestone. I also got the Firestone 26th Anniversary Ale. I got the Gold Rider from 2022 also, and the Firestone 27 Anniversary Ale. So I got a few Firestone beers that are definitely around. It's funny that double DBA I ended up getting last year in New Jersey. And it was like I walked into one of the stores up there, and usually you see that beer like 12 to maybe $13 or $14, depending on where you're at. They were literally on the shelf like $6.99. I was like, I had to get a couple. I mean, can't pass that deal up. Hey, Shane. Oh, Vinyl Brewing. Nice. Yeah, just had the 2024 parabola. Okay. Sometimes I notice on my untapped list things will fall off. So I'm thinking it's the 2023 and 2022 I have. Cheers, Bumpy. Thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. You changed the name there. Or is that the new name of the channel? Bumpy Isms? Did you switch it up? We got Drew Watts in the house. Cheers. Awesome salsa. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. Another great channel. Check out. That's Drew's cooking channel where he drinks some beer, but also does grilling. So make sure, check out Watts on the Grill. Drew's always doing some fun stuff on his videos. One of our other friends north of the border up in Canada. Still the 2015 in Firestone. Yeah. So that's been there in the cellar for a good amount of time then. Well, there you go. It's tough. That's one of the things over the years, accumulating of beers has just been kind of crazy in itself because you get so many different ones and you're trying to get different ones coming out because of the way craft beer is. It's like you got to get it then or miss it type situation on some of the beers that aren't the standards. So you end up amassing a pretty good beer cellar over a period of time. Just make sure if you are doing a beer cellar, one, you're selling the right beers that can actually last for a good amount of time, and two, you're keeping them at the right temps that you need to, and keeping them in the right way. I know some people will talk about how they lay down some of their bottles. My understanding from things I've always studied around beer is you don't really want to put bottles on their sides. You can do it with cans, but when you do it with bottles, it can actually cause a little bit more oxidation to take place through the seal on the cap. So I've always been told, don't put bottles on the sides. You can with cans. Obviously, you learn from experience. So maybe some of you guys are doing that and you're getting away with it and it's okay. And maybe some of you have found that out that it's not best to do that. See here. Drew checks in from his other channel, Beer for Breakfast, Facts for Snacks. I appreciate you on the extra watch time, my friend. And that's the other channel that you can actually catch for Drew as well, where he does a lot more of the beer videos on there as well. I think you've been doing some walking videos too, getting out there and tooling around the neighborhoods. Yeah, changed it up. Then when folks thinking I only did, but you do beer reviews, Bumpy, but you're going to be mixing up. Well, you were doing some food stuff, I know, as well. So you're going to be, I'm thinking you're going to be introducing more things outside of beer then. So you kind of want to give a little bit more versatility to your channel. And that can work. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. With this one, it's definitely all beer, but the reaction channel is one I did separate, which is actually another great one that took off with some pretty good success. And you got to be able to, one thing I'll say over the years, you'll learn, you got to be able to know how you want to manage your content. It's hard to put everything you may want to do into one. So if you're going to go into something like this, like beer, and you want to be focused on beer, you definitely got to be into it. If you're going to do other stuff, it makes it a little hard because the people that are checking in for beer may not want to check in and see the other stuff you're doing. And that's where you kind of start getting hit with the algorithm, not moving videos and stuff for you. Beer in a bottle is not like wine or even champagne in a bottle. No, you're right. You're right, my friend. It's not. Oh, well, maybe some of the saisons, some of those aged saisons might be like a little champagne in a bottle. Frozen pizza and cooking. There you go. Bumpy Kitchen. That's your channel, Bumpy Kitchen. You can have anything in the kitchen be on your channel. Tim, my friend, cheers, brother. Great to see you down there in South Carolina. Hopefully you are doing well, buddy. Tim's been around for a good amount of time too. So great to see you still doing some stuff here on YouTube as well. You know, it's interesting just looking over the last 9 years, going back and seeing who's here, who's not here, some of the new people coming in, some of the old people that aren't doing it anymore. It's kind of reflective and stuff. And for me, on my perspective, to be able to still keep it going and still have some good success, I think it's a great thing. Because anybody that does YouTube will tell you it's not easy. You're constantly coming up with things you got to put out there, invent, and have different ideas on stuff. And then things change constantly. So you're trying to stay ahead of the curve as best you can. But it's been a lot of good people that were on YouTube that aren't on here anymore. So shout out to them. And we got a lot of great new people that are on here who are having great success. So shout out to them as well. Well, I appreciate that, Bart. Cheers, my friend. Bart, one of my other homies up there in New Jersey. And sooner or later, we will catch up again. In fact, I think, Bart, and for Alex, if you're watching, I think when I come up, I believe it'll be in May around Mother's Day. I'm going to try to maybe get in a couple extra days to try to get around to a couple of the breweries and stuff too, and then catch up with you guys. So maybe we can meet up when I'm actually back then. Chatio in the house. Cheers, Chatio. What is going on? He's over there rolling on his channel, and Chatio does beers and stuff, but he also does the reactions and some different things. So even check him out. Yeah, 9 years. I've actually had this channel going, and hard to believe, right? But again, Matt was just here. If Matt, you're still there, I don't know how long you were going, Matt. If you were there, maybe you can let the people know, but you were going before me, so you're easily into the double digits for the years and stuff, for everything that you've done. JT's the first subbed in the summer of 2018. Wow. So that was almost 6 years ago. It's over 5.5. Nice. And JT is actually one of the subscribers and viewers and what I would say friends that I've actually got a chance to meet out in Chicago. We had some great drinks and a meal and got to see him again when I went last time up there, him and Liz. So we had a blast and stuff. Great guy. And we just had a fun time kicking. It's funny when you actually get a chance to meet some of the people from through here. When you're doing YouTube, it's almost like you feel like you've known them for a lot longer than you actually have, just because of all the conversations and stuff. Because some things you do get, in depth on things that you may not done if you were in person, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but you ended up building this camaraderie. So we got a chance to actually hang out in real life. That was really cool. I agree, Bart. That would be great for sure. And yeah, last time me and Bart got together, we got together over at Spellbound, which is a brewery. One of my old high school mates actually founded there, co-founded that. So we had a blast out there for a little bit of time and stuff. But Jersey's hopefully New Jersey's turned the corner now on some of the stuff. They've actually kind of the government's taking a foot off the craft breweries' necks a little bit, letting them do a little bit more things. They can actually do some more expansion, have more shows, get some food in there that hopefully they can have it grow more. But some good beer coming out of New Jersey for sure. Congrats on 9 years. You started as you were legal to drink. I wish. That would have been great, right? Yeah. Then again, back when we drank in the 80s, I'm glad there was no social media because it was some craziness for sure. I'm one of those Gen Xers that am glad that coming of age, we didn't have to deal with social media. So none of our stuff was recorded. What is the favorite beer I have ever reviewed? That, my friend, is a good question. As far as, well, I guess more recently, the one that I reviewed that was a collab with Other Half and the Veil was a stout. I have to look at my phone and see which one it was, but that was really good. One that I reviewed out of Cincinnati, which is one of my favorites from Mad Tree Brewing, their Galaxy High. I'm a fan of the Galaxy Hop, and they have a really good beer, Galaxy High, which I can't remember what the ABV is. I want to say it's around 9, I believe. And it's an Imperial IPA using that hop. Was one of my favorites to actually do. Golden Draught 9000 was one of my favorite beers for a long time. When I did that review, one of my favorite international beers. That one really got me more into the Belgian type beers and really going deep into some of the ones I've actually had. Duvel and some of the stuff they were doing became favorites as well. So it's always hard to say what's your favorite, right? Because your favorite can change at any day, at any time with a certain beer. But those are some of the ones I've actually really enjoyed. Oh, now this one is a little bit easier of a question. What is your most horrifying beer you ever had? And that would have been from Minhaus Brewing, which shout out to my buddy Dan. Western Canadian reviewer. He would definitely agree with me on that one because he's not a huge fan of Minhouse. But it was one, I got to get the name of it here because I've had a few. And it was one I got at Trader Joe's at the time when I got it. Let me see here. Minhas. You know what's bad? It's like a name you'll never forget. That's just how bad it was. It's like I would never forget you ever, ever. Du- 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 du. I want to say I don't think it was the name tag one. It might have been name tag. I'm in the wrong thing. That's what it is. Minhas. I think it was the Simpler Times Pilsner, which actually, as bad as it was, no, it was the Simpler Times Lager, which is really stupid because a Pilsner is a lager, but they have a Simpler Times Pilsner and a Simpler Times Lager. Was that the one? Doesn't look like I did it that bad. Who was the name tag? Maybe it was name tag. Yes, my bad. It was name tag. Um, that was terrible. Name tag classic lager. Gave it a 1.25 out of 5 on Untapped, which is pretty unheard of for me to go that low on a beer. But that beer um, was not great by any means whatsoever. Yeah. So, and that was back May of 2016. So it was a name tag one. And just in case you're curious, I think I saw it on here before. I think last I looked on Untapped, and I started Untapped. I think the first one was also like 2015, or pretty close to it. It was like over 7,000 beers, I think, since then I've checked in. So, and of the beers I've checked in, I would probably say is still either is under or right at maybe 10 that I've given a 5 out of 5 to. So, do you have an opportunity? Okay. Yeah. So I do like cask beer when I can get it. That's a good question there because not a lot of the places around the states you can actually find that at. One of the ones here in Baltimore that does have it though is like Heavy Seas. They have a cask draft system where they're at. I had cask beer when I was in Columbus, Ohio, years ago at I think it was Barrel and Barley, and I like it. But to me, it's with the cask you get like that a smooth creaminess like you would like with a nitro beer. So I kind of like having that. It doesn't have to be like a. I'm not one of those ones that wants like that over carbonated type beer or whatever. I like a nice smooth creaminess and stuff. So I do like the cask beers when I can actually get those. I would like to see. I wish we had more cask beers like that. But I will say I am seeing a few more nitro beers starting to pop up for some breweries. I was a farmer at Banker's Brew Pub here in Woostown the other night. Oh, nice! Is that a pretty cool brew pub? I haven't heard about them yet, Bart. And today, Swedesboro for the first time. Oh, nice! Getting around there with a little bit of the brewery action taking place. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, I'm seeing good things pop up. It's funny. I mentioned on one of the video reviews that I didn't realize, but it was the Claws. The Claw was because they were purchased by, I want to say it was River Horse in Ewing, New Jersey, but they're brewing their beers up there now. But people still assume they're Baltimore. But yeah, they're getting brewed up in New Jersey on their stuff. Okay. Well, Swedesboro, actual brewing company versus maybe a brew pub. Were they brewing on site at the brew pub, or was it kind of more just like the food? You can get like the local thing there too. So Brew pubs can be kind of fun though, but I always think of brew pubs more for the food than the actual beer, which is I think because I always think like the gastro type pubs as well, where you don't always have stuff being brewed there, versus if you're actually at a source like a brewery. We'll say this Guinness is going down smooth. It is only the extra stout though, so it's not the foreign extra. But and then this was a 22-ounce bottle. Remember the days of Lagunitas and the 22-ounce bottles? I wonder what they do with all of those. All those bottles got recycled, but back in the day, going into a store, many stores would have a bomber wall, just 22-ounce bombers everywhere. What's up, Dan? Thanks, my friend. Appreciate that. 2024 Bigfoot Sierra Nevada remains solid. You can't go wrong with the 2024 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. So, Dan, FLX Beer Reviews, another great channel. They do some pretty good stuff there too. If you haven't checked out that channel, make sure you do as well. Dan's part of that new school coming in. So yeah. Say you was on an island on your own and you were offered one beer in a bottle a week, one beer in a can, and one in a keg. What would you choose for each format? Oh wow. Well, the keg, it's like the keg one's gonna last the longest, right? So one in a bottle, one in a can. Man, let's see. So I can tell you if it was in a bottle, it wouldn't be anything like a Heineken or anything that comes in a green bottle right now. If I could have one in a bottle, I guess one of my favorite beers from Stone, and I should have mentioned this one as well when I was asked for one of my favorite beers I reviewed, was the and they just brought it back. So if you get Stone distribution, you can see it start popping up possibly, but there was so much of a fan outcry to finally get it back. They actually listen. Maybe they listen, or maybe their new macro daddies listen, but the Stone Mocha IPA is one of my favorite ones here to enjoy because I am a stout and IPA fan, and that's like the best of both worlds coming together. So, and they serve that in a bottle. So I'll take that in a bottle there. Because I'm going to get one of those each week. And IPA, you always want to try to get as fresh as you can, right? So that would work out. As far as in a keg, I feel like that would take a little bit more time to get through. So you want something that might hold for a bit of time as you go through it. So I'll probably get like the Dragon's Milk in a keg. And then in a can, in a regular can, we talking 12 ounce, talking 16, we talking 19.2, we talking Crowler 32. What size can are we talking here? What would I want in a can? Because I'm trying to think of the ones that are in there now that are being done. Maybe, even though I don't get it as much now, maybe one of the other half beers might be something. I can't think of too much offhand. It really pops in my head. Maybe one of like the left hand nitro, because you would want that in a can. Well, they do it in a bottle now too, or something along those lines. I think it depends where you're at too, because some places you can get stuff in a bottle or a can. But yeah, maybe one something like that and everything. But I think the big thing would be kind of the nitro, and if you're getting a bottle, not to get a green bottle. If you get a keg, get something you can keep for a period of time. So I feel like the Dragon's Milk would be good in the keg. Shout out to Vanessa. Hey, what's up, Kettleheads? Cheers, my friend. Great to see you this great Saturday night. Hopefully you're doing well. Just kind of decided to kick up a little anniversary stream since I've been 9 years this past week doing the channel. Thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of share some stuff there. Besides BCBS, is there a beer you pick up every year? Yeah, right. Like BCBS, that's in the mix usually. There's Dragon's Milk. Every time they come out with a new variant, this pretty much grab the 4-pack and throw it in a cart type thing. So any of the Dragon's Milk type stuff I usually get, but once I get it, I wouldn't say I go back and get it every time. I am a fan. Shout out to Joe, the Beer Patrol. I like to pick up Oberon each year. I just feel like for me, Oberons are great coming to spring. It's not a beer that's going to wow you probably, but it's just one of those beers that for me traditionally, it just when I have it, it's just like, oh, spring is in the air because they released it on what they call their Oberon Day, and it fits nicely. At this point now, I would say there's not much I usually would say go out to really get each year. I would say I take that back. Some of the Firestone Walkers I'm picking up as I see them now. So now that I have access to the Firestone Walker beers, I'll usually pick up something each year. Like the Parabolas I'm picking up each year. So that's kind of falling into that. Is there any other ones I can think of offhand? No, I mean, one of the things I've always wanted to do when I started this channel, one of my goals is to basically try as many beers as much as possible. So I'm always trying to find different beers and not try to go back to other ones if I don't have to, just because I just want to explore as many beers as I can and share them on the channel. So there's some that definitely win me over that I would go back and get. Like I said, I mentioned Stone Mocha IPA earlier. If that came out every year, I would always grab that every year. That Mad Tree Galaxy High when I was in Cincinnati, I would get that pretty much on every release. And there's very few that I would do it with. Most of the ones I'm just trying to get all new stuff as best I can to share. All Citra from everything. Oh, they had Classic Hazy. That's the can. Yeah, that's a good one. All Citra. Yeah, I do like that. But it's so funny. Like we talked about this on the happy hour live streams. Now that I'm here on the East Coast again, and I have access to other half from being out of DC, I rarely drink it. I rarely pick it up anymore. When I was in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, anytime Joe would get us stuff, he'd be like, "Oh, this is awesome. We got other half." And then once you get to the source where you can get it, it just kind of like, I don't know. And every time I have it here, I enjoy it. It's just the access has changed, I guess. And that's kind of like, I start looking at other stuff and look past it. I need to do some more other half because they do have a lot of great things. Like I said, that one I picked up with that stout they did with the Veil and Side Project, that was my only 5 I gave last year. That was such a great beer. Big Daddy in the house. Cheers, Big Daddy. What is going on, my friend? Holding down Chicago. Hopefully you're having a good time. I don't know if you made it over to Guinness at all this weekend. I know they were doing their big up for their first time in Chicago. And I guess the river is greener again now, as we talked about the other night, where it's always green. Sipping on the Two Hearted Ale. No, very nice. Now I will say, Two Hearted Ale, I do like. I don't grab it every time, but anytime I see double Two Hearted, I will grab that. So I'll put that in the list for Josh's question that I would pick up every year if I happen to see it and it's in my area. The double Two Hearted is a great beer. Sit back and enjoy, in my opinion. What's up, Sam? Simo? And thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And Simo, great channel over there. Across the pond, doing some good things. You actually did a live stream earlier. I stopped in for a little bit before I do some other stuff, but hopefully you're doing well and you guys are having a good time. It looked like there. You had Don on. Don's always a good guy too. Celebration every year pickup. Yeah, see, I'd like Celebration, but it's not something I get every year. That's the thing. It's just like, I don't know. It's not like I'm a one and done type person, but it's got to be something like if I'm going out somewhere and I need to grab some beers and they're like, that's the tops on the rack or whatever, then I'll probably give it a try out and pick it up. I'll grab it again. But as good as it is, I just don't get it every year. I just don't. Thoughts on hype beers and breweries raising the price for a beer that's only a slight adjustment on the core beer. That's a good one, Mr. B. That is good. So we had talked about this a few years back as one example. If you've got a good core beer, do you need to really come out with something bigger? And what we were talking about at the time, it was making reference to like Oscar Blues and their 1050. The base version of it is so good. Do you really need to come out with the barrel aged version? And the barrel aged version is maybe just a little bit better than what the core is, but I'm like, you could have just left it with the core, I think, with that one. So sometimes you have some of these ones that are coming out with stuff, and I don't feel like you always have to have a big adjustment and you have to go to a next level with it possibly. Now, some beers, it can make a difference. I just mentioned the double two hearted. I think double two hearted stands out versus the regular two hearted. So it really depends, I guess, on the brewery and how much they're actually putting the work into it. But if it's a good core beer, I don't know if you need to really make an adjustment to it. As far as that, and then going ahead and raising the price, yeah, I mean, if you're going to improve, or you're going to put more stuff into it to kind of raise the ABV, it's going to cost you more ingredients. So I expect the price to be higher for that. It's funny. So right now, and I'll give you an example. Everybody was getting the Trogs Nugget Nectar. I've never had the Trogs Nugget Nectar into this year. So I got the double nugget first, and then I got the regular nugget. And I think the double nugget was going to be like 18 or 19, I think it was, for the 4-pack, but then the regular nugget was like 15 or whatever. And I actually prefer the regular nugget to the double nugget. So it wasn't that much to me of a difference of why to go to the double size, to that bigger size, when the other one was just as good. So I guess it gets into maybe preference as well. And Mr. B says hello to Simo. Make sure you check out Mr. B's channel as well if you haven't checked him out. Good stuff too on the beers. What style of beer would you kick off the proverbial island if you had to vote one off? Oh, Dan, you haven't watched me enough to not know. Shandies. Shandies are out of here. Shandies, somebody brings a shandy to the island.
Shut it down. 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 Shut it down now.
Because we don't need no shandies anywhere in the world, in my opinion. Well, I know some people like them. They like the lightness of them. They like the fruitiness of them. I don't need them in my world. I'll put it that way, especially the Leinenkugel one. And the Leinenkugel one is one that I think, just for me, gave me a bad feeling towards any type of shandy. I know there's probably some good ones out there, but the Leinenkugel is one that's just been like, I have no inkling to try something else after having it. Funny thing is, I do like rattlers, though. I've had some pretty good rattlers I do like. Joe's in the house. Cheers. What's going on, brother? You must have heard me say Oberon, and then Joe said, I got to pop on here. And Joe is like, Joe's like the old school, new school, old school type thing. Like, Joe's been around YouTube longer than I've been around, but he didn't have a channel until he did a channel a few years back. But it was like he was already known in YouTube from being on so many other channels. So it's kind of like he's old school for being around, but his channel's like more newer school because it's a younger channel. So it's like an old school, new school, old school type thing with Joe. If that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, so I like Rattler. Rattler's like the Stiegel Rattler. I do enjoy that one, especially if it's like a warmer type day. I can go through, well, anybody could probably go through a bunch of Stiegel Rattlers because it's such low ABV, but I find that to be a pleasurable one to sit back and enjoy. That's probably my favorite Rattler, is probably Stiegel. But it's some of the other ones I've had here in America, I can go through and I can actually check them out and enjoy those as well. But it's just the sweetness of some of the shandies, and maybe it's the American versions on some of the stuff, but like the Leinenkugel is just like this lemonade feel to it that if you don't maybe try to chug it, as it sits around, it becomes more syrupy, it becomes more sweet. It's just like, I never want to finish it. And it's the only beer I've ever had drain pour at a bar because I wanted the glass and I had to buy the shandy to get the glass, and I had them drain pour, and they were kind of surprised, but I was like, no, I don't like it. I just wanted the glass. So, is there a style that I think is overhyped? Ooh. Dare I say, I don't say it's overhyped. I feel like it's overextended, and that would be IPA. I wish more breweries would open up other styles so it's not so IPA heavy. One of the breweries I really enjoy here is Guilford, who actually, they acquire Flying Fish and all their stuff, so it'll be interesting how that goes forward. But you have you have one British IPA, but it's all beers based over from like the UK side. So you have like a British Pale Ale, and you have a Belgian, and you have a Golden, you have other stuff. But like, I feel like there's so many places you go to, and it's just like IPA, double IPA, New England IPA, West Coast IPA. Everybody's just with all these IPAs, and you got the sour IPAs. So I think that style, maybe it is a little bit overhyped and stuff. I'm loving seeing some of the beers that are being done by some of the breweries here as being Schwartz beers. I'm seeing Keller beers. I'm seeing one of my favorite styles is Rausch beer. So I'm seeing more of those being done. And any smoke type beer, I'm pretty much going to check out. But it's just, it would probably be that IPA type category. So, and that's one that actually I get burned out on times too. Like if you look in my beer cooler, the least style I have is IPA. I think I got one in there now from Burlington Beer Company for an upcoming video. And then I have another one that I'll be doing as well. I forgot which brewery that's from, but everything else is pretty much stouts, porters, Belgian. I've actually got a couple of macros. I'm doing a couple of those for just some more introductions into the channel. But yeah, IPAs are probably where I would probably go. Big Day said, did make it to Guinness, but I'm sipping a Guinness. Congrats on that year. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, brother. And Guinness back to you as well. Actually drinking the extra stout right now. I didn't make it here in Baltimore either. And they got like a big thing going on with the Irish little village they set up over there. I might try to, if I get some time, I might try to go over tomorrow, because I would like to try to go over and get some video and share it with you guys and stuff too, because they go out and do a big hoopla with the Guinness stuff here, which is pretty cool. Hey, what's up, Bill? Cheers. You all know Beer Hounds. Make sure you check Bill out. Bill's got some pretty good stuff too. Very nice. Great to see you, brother, out there in the OC, holding it down. I do like wild ales. One of the breweries that I was fortunate enough to actually have in Cincinnati, with more and more people in the country are finding out about, is Urban Artifact, and they actually do some of their brewing is wild, and then people like to say sour and stuff, but it's open fermentation is how they're doing a lot of their stuff there, and they have some really good stuff they're putting together and they're putting out from that brewery. So the wild, it can be, I feel like when you get into wild, you definitely are getting more into an acquired taste. Like as a new person going into beer, like I wouldn't recommend them to try a wild ale. But as someone that's been in drinking beers and different styles for a while, you know, their palate's been kind of broken in, then I would kind of maybe take them down that road. Just like barley wine. If you get a new person trying a barley wine, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, they're not going to like it if they're new to really beer. But come back a few years later, and they actually could sit there and possibly enjoy it. And I love a good barley wine. It was the worst beer I ever had. Well, I mentioned the name tag from Trader Joe's already that was brewed by their Joseph's Brow. I swear there was another one by Minhouse I didn't like, though, but I'm not going to go digging for it now. But that was like one I gave a 1.25 out of 5 to. Was that probably the worst? No, because I mean, there's probably the macro drool. I mean, over the years, the beers that I've actually had that I probably wouldn't drink now. You know, I can go back to the high school years doing like some of the Colt 45s and stuff like that and everything. You were just trying to get your hands on things, but that now I guess it'd be considered like swill or something for some people. Although some people still like the Colts and the 40s and all kind of stuff, which I got no problem with. You know, once in a while I'll crack a malt liquor for something, but those are probably some of the ones there. I would say the worst alcohol that I've ever had or drank was probably Wild Irish Rose. That stuff, oof, that was some nasty stuff. That's in the Mad Dog 2020 category, which is another terrible thing to actually drink. Those go back some bad years for sure. Oh, I can tell you some stories right there. German, Belgium, UK, or US beers. Well, if I had to choose, and some of you may know, I think I mentioned a few times, that if I was going to, if there was like, you're in the last run, Yeah, one more country you can go to finish out your life or wherever you want to end at, it'd probably be Belgium. So I'm going to say Belgian beer. Belgian beers are the ones closest to my heart as far as the quads, the doubles, the triple. I mean, you can never get a Chimay and not be happy about it, right? You can never get a Duvel and not be happy about it. Um, all the different stuff they have over there that we get over here is just every time I have a Belgian, it's just so smooth and tasty. So Belgium will be my top one between them. But the US, as far as like hop forward beers, I mean, no one's going to beat us over here, I think, in the States. I mean, that's just where we're pulling off a lot of our success is with those hop forward type beers. Um, but the UK, great stuff with the stuff they're doing. Again, my favorite brewery here, they're basically doing British style beers. So, but Belgium would be the top one. I'm not going to leave Germany. I mean, it's Germany. You got to enjoy the beers from Germany. So you can't go wrong either. If somebody said if someone said the only brewery you can drink from is X and Curla, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that too. I mean, like I said, I'm all about the smoked beers, and they do the best of anybody in that category. Have you ever tried Malort? I've gotten in and out of Chicago, I think, without having to try that before. But I feel like next time I actually go, I'm going to need to do Malort just to do the old Chicago handshake. Now, what I was thinking Malort would probably be like is Jägermeister or Absinthe, which neither of those I actually like at all. I hate those. Those are like nasty. Ouzo, put that in the same category. But people have told me Malort's worse. So no, I'm not sure what I should expect now. I've heard it tastes like gym socks to sweatpants to anything that's not pleasurable that you can think of. That's where Malort would be. But, it's a Chicago thing and people do it. Yeah, Mad Dog 2020, the memories. Yeah, Mad Dog was, we had one of the videos we did. I can't remember exactly which episode it was, but Todd and I on the Thursday show were doing 40s. We were doing a malt liquor show, and then we had Shannon because she said she wondered if Mad Dog tasted the same now as it did back then, and she went ahead and tried it. I think it was last year or the year before, and she took one sip and she was done. She never did go back into the bottle. I think it all got poured out. But it's funny. At one time, you would drink it, but as you're older now, you're wiser. But you see young kids, I guess, doing it on these TikTok videos, and you can see like Gen X kind of trying to warn them from videos my wife says she's watched on there. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend Mad Dog 2020 for anybody, really. Lord tastes like wormwood, which is what it is. It's worse. I'll send you some to try on your show. All right. I mean, I would give it a go. I think Todd may have tried it when he was up there. I don't know, JT, if you and Liz got Todd and Shannon to try some when they were in town or not. If not, we could definitely look to do an episode of tasting it. I mean, it's all for science, right? It's all for science. But speaking of a little bit of spirits, I'm actually going to crack this open here. I don't know if you guys have had this at all, Legit. So this is like a whiskey I found at one of the little whiskey stores, and actually I've enjoyed it thus far. So I thought about trying to do some whiskey reviews on the channel here, but then it's like it starts to get away from it just being a beer channel. So I don't know. Would you guys want to see whiskey reviews on the channel, or would you rather have like a whiskey channel to have that separated? Let's see here. Moore's a masterpiece of marketing. Take a crappy drink and make people want to buy it. Yeah, but kind of like Pepsi Clear back in the day. It's like, hey, we got a clear cola. Let's make people actually try it. Why? Why did we need a clear cola? Who came up with that marketing genius? It probably got fired and went over to cross the street to Coke and made the new Coke after it. So, yeah. I have not had Earthquake. I don't think I've had Earthquake. I've had I've had Hurricane. Let me take a look here. I've had one of them. Yeah, they put Earthquake on like Untapped and stuff now too. Which, if anybody's on Untapped and you want to connect with me on there, you can definitely connect with me at Rajay BeerVentures as well. Yeah, I haven't had Earthquake, but I know I've had Hurricane before. Like, why do we got to name these things natural disasters? Then the morning after, you find out why it's a natural disaster. Todd and Shannon did the Malort experience more than once. Oh, they did it more than once. Wow. I didn't know they had repeat customers for that. Vanessa says, hey, y'all. Cheers, Vanessa. Great to see you, my friend. How about a review anything channel? You know, the thing with YouTube, people can do that. Like, you can do, like, you know, your name reviews, whatever. Like, it could be like Rod reviews everything or something like that. But with YouTube, the success that most people will have behind it is being able to target more specific inside of an audience type thing. So if you start reviewing everything, like say you're doing frozen food and you're doing cigars and you're doing beer, well, people are coming in for those things from different areas. So when they start coming in and then videos get recommended back to them that are from the areas they're not interested in, they start dropping off. And then YouTube starts to actually start knocking down your videos and the algorithm because people aren't actually into it. So with YouTube, it's better to be more direct and specific than to have more of a broad type take on things. And that's something I think some people miss along the way. And those that kind of find that focus and find how to be specific, it helps them grow a lot more. JT says, cheers, Vanessa. How are you? Hello, JT. Let's see. Some math channels have millions of subscribers. Yeah, well, a lot of people need math, that's for sure. Some people can't do simple addition, I found. Hey, Donner's in the house. Cheers, Donner. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. You guys want to know about whiskey? Check out Donner as well. The whiskey, all the whiskey guys are great. Donner has the stuff that they do, and he does it on his channel, and some of the other ones out there. That's how I've learned some of the different things. It's funny. I lived in Kentucky for all those years, never took advantage of bourbon. Then I moved here and I started getting more bourbon. Again, it's like the other half thing in beer. When I'm not here, I was drinking other half. So when I get here, I don't drink other half as much. It's just weird how that works out. It's all about access. When it's more limited, it feels like it's more desired, I guess. I thought about videos on building bench fire wings around a fire pit. You could definitely do that, Vanessa. Like you would have a great crafting channel that you can actually do because you're always like crafting and building things. And I'm telling you, you'd have such great success on being able to launch that kind of stuff that people will definitely be following you. The leather cup holders that you make and everything along those lines. You should have a channel. Am I taking shots tonight? I wasn't planning on taking no shots. I am drinking just a little bit of whiskey right now as well with my beer, but I'm past that shot stage for the most part. But again, there was a time. I sip whiskey. I say sip some on the beer channel. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I did a couple previously, and people tend to like those as well. And it's you get a lot of beer drinkers that like to sip on whiskey. Now you get the barrel aging of stuff. So I feel like I could slide into the whiskey because people are curious around barrel aged beers. So if you're having the whiskey, you can kind of do that, or having parent videos of the whiskey that the beer I'm reviewing is actually distilled in, right? So if I'm drinking a barrel aged beer that was willetized, it'd be nice to have a bottle willet next to it to see from the whiskey what I get, and then when I get from the beer, if I actually do pick up some of that stuff. Because when we do the beer that's barrel aged, often we get that woodiness, that oakiness, that flavor from the bourbon barrel, and we get a little bit of that whiskey thing. But to have it right there next to the whiskey would be kind of interesting, I think, too. So that could be something of videos down the line as well. And then one of the things I actually started bringing back this week, I'm going to be doing more of those because I've had people ask about that kind of stuff, is more of kind of like the beer education type video. So I just did the one this week on the SRM and what that actually means. And then I got some other stuff that'll be coming out about hops and other aspects rather than just beer reviews. The one thing with a lot of the beer channels, it's like the beer reviews. For me, I always enjoy doing them because I love sharing the passion around the beers I'm enjoying with you guys. But the beer reviews, if you're honest, they're like the low hanging fruit. Like I want it to also be a more of an education beer channel too, that you can actually come here, have fun, laugh, and also learn about beer. So I can drop in some of those videos along the way. I think that'd be great. So things like beer temps, different styles have different temperatures on how you should drink your beer and how to do stuff like that. And with some of the other meetings out there, I was going to do a video like on some of the beer terminology type of things and stuff. So a lot of other good things that I'm kicking around in my head as I go into the next part after this 9-year journey I'm on right now. Fine wines, aged, and yeah. So I've had barrel aged Cabernet before, which was actually pretty tasty. In fact, one of my local stores just has one now, and I might go back and get it tomorrow, actually. But it's like in a jug, and it's a wine that's a cab that's been barrel aged as well. So definitely more common. You're seeing this happen with the mixing of the distilleries and the breweries, and some of the breweries are launching distilleries out there, right? So you have that taking place, which is nice. Yeah. Bourbon aged in wine barrels. Yeah, you have that going. Bourbon aged in wine barrels, wine aged in bourbon barrels. You also got some of the what was it? There was something else that was being done too. I'm trying to think. Well, you got the beer that's been done in wine barrels too, but you also get things like tequila barrels, gin barrels, which rum barrels. Rum is one of my favorites for barreling now. Tequila is one of my favorites. I do like the gin as well. It's not all just whiskey anymore, which is great. And you're finding some great mixes that they're finding doing some of the other barrels. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Rebel 100 bourbon now. There you go. I've actually had the Rebel 100 before too. So what do you think of that, Big Daddy? And this legit, for if you haven't seen, it's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So 47 ABV, which will put it at 94 proof. Yeah. So this one right here, as we're talking about it, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, partially finished in wine and sherry casks. So I'll get that up there. So you can see right there, this is one that's also done in wine casks as well. So again, you have this mixing that takes place of the different industries kind of doing some stuff. Now, this is actually done by James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. And for, if you're still here, Donner, James B. Beam, is that different than Jim Beam? Like a separate facility? Like, why wouldn't you just say Jim Beam, but you're trying to be more fancy with it, or is that just separate? But it's a tasty little whiskey. Has a nice little finish on it. You get a little bit of a that sherry there on the nose. I think about the sherry like being like a nightcap type thing. Is like I remember years ago we went to an Airbnb in North Carolina, and every night they would put sherry out. It's kind of a nightcap thing. And you can kind of see where that would be the case. And as I drink this, I kind of get a memory of like that. This would be a nice little night sipper before you called it an evening. Can we find wine aged in bourbons that the bourbon aged in the same wine barrels and the beer aged in them too? Maybe. If not, give it time. I'm sure someone will come up with that for sure. It's all part of a process, so it definitely could happen. But it's funny. So I thought it'd be kind of funny just to go back, because one thing about YouTube, when I talk to some people, is where they're at now, where they're at when they started. If they ever go back and look at things and kind of stuff, and a lot of people are like, no, I never go back and look at it. So I was going to see, pull up here just to go back for, as you say, shits and giggles, right? Take a look at the first video. Well, part of it, I'm going to probably run the whole thing, but the first video I actually did on YouTube, just for the show you guys where it all began, if you hadn't seen it. And it was rough. I mean, the first one's always going to be kind of probably a rough one, right? Because it's the first time you're actually doing it. Let me see here. God, this is crazy. All right, give me a second here. Let me get this ad out the way. All right. Let me go back over here. Necessary. Okay, got that. So this here. God, look at my got a big old head there. This here is, let me get it this way. No, I'll do it this other way. So I see the best way to get, there we go. I'll do it like that. This was the first video that I actually did on YouTube. And, it was okay. It was, didn't really get too much out of it, I think. And this was actually, it was He Hosts the Riviera. He Hosts the Rivera. It was 1906 Reserva a special beer review, 6.5 ABV. So funny thing behind this beer, this is a beer that I picked up at the time at one of my local spots in Kentucky. Didn't really know for sure what it was, but I ended up getting a case of it for $12.99. So, we talk about the garage A deals that happen sometimes. I had a place that was selling these beers. I was like, $12.99 for a case? That seems absurd. My first video was a Rod J deal. So there you go. But this is how it looked when I did it back then. We're going to take a look at a beer that will be considered one of the Marzen or Oktoberfest styles. That beer, 1906 Reserva Especial. Don't know if you've had this before or if you've seen it. It actually comes to us from Spain. It carries an ABV of 6.5%. Taking a look at the ingredients: water, barley malt, maize, and hop. Not hops, but hop. So those would make up the ingredients for this beer. This one is actually brewed by He Hosts the Riviera. They are a brewer out of La Coruña, Spain. Hopefully I'm saying everything correct there. The beer was first created back in 1906, hence the name, right? 1906 right there. But in 2006, they created special batches to designate their centenary for being 100 years old. So it's kind of funny going back, looking at that first video. And for me, I see it now and I can hear like some of the static background and stuff like that coming into play. But you have to go back and look at some of your older stuff to see where you come along the way. Cheers to JV in the house. Thanks, my friend. Yeah, curtains on the very first video that started it all. That's right. Curtains were up, my friend. That was the early makings of the studio back then when I was out in Kentucky. I had the beer Tapas restaurant in Chicago. It's a very tasty beer. But I'm like, I'm going through and everything. I'm just trying to be so formal on it and kind of going through and just trying to miss anything and reading the label. So it's kind of funny. Skip ahead a little bit here. Baby in. Take a look at how it rises. One thing noticeable about this beer is you're not going to get a lot of head on it usually. Usually you might get one finger there. So, and it does dissipate a little quicker. I think it might have to do with some of the way they actually brew the beer. But if you take a look, you can see the carbonation. That does look pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got that nice golden orange color, kind of something you would expect on a Marzen or an Oktoberfest. Say Mars. I didn't say a Märzen. I'm just saying Marzen. Which people do say Marzen, but it should be Märzen. The aroma on it. Taking those long whiffs to get the aroma. You can smell it coming off with the hops. It's nothing really strong. Doesn't give that real over hoppy smell. I would kind of look at this as a stronger Budweiser. Maybe you could take it up towards kind of a malt liquor type situation, but this actually has a little bit more ABV than what malt liquor would carry. God, I'm like breathing all heavy in there. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible video. I think in the summer, you could be okay with it, but like any heavier beer, it can't catch up with you after a point. You know, you let it roll around a little bit, and like I said, it does liven up your taste buds. Nothing really comes off as far as any type of fruit type thing, any type of feeling along those lines. It's just a nice little relaxing, drinking, talking type of beer you want to have if you're with some buddies. And well, anyway, just thought it's fun to take a look back at where you actually started. I recommend that to anybody that does a YouTube channel. Just because you notice the different things from when you started and where you're actually at now. And I could definitely pick up some of the stuff there. But hopefully, as you guys watch these videos, you can see where things have been improved now versus then. But that was one of the things. That was the one video that started it. And it was weird. That yellow color couldn't. It was with the cameras. All the technology has changed, and you can see some of the older videos where they have like that yellowish tint to it. So that was kind of different. We also had like a lot of crazy stuff. So it's kind of like some of the old lives we used to do back then. Let me take a look here, because we did have some fun, crazy type stuff there too. See if I can pull one of those up here. Oh, this was one. This is one we did Great Lakes. Let me take a look here. This was actually from May 2016. May 19th, 2016. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, got to share it to the video. There we go. This is one back when I used to have Crunch on the show. This was the early stages of what's now become Happy Hour.
Craft beers gone wild. I'm Crunch Crutchmeyer here in Chicago, Illinois.
And Rod J out of the Cincinnati area.
And today we got one of our special guests here from the Shoes Pub. For those of you that have seen the link ups that we had, where I did a on the road a little tour there at Shoes Pub doing the Founders Nitro. The other day that we posted that up, you can catch that.
You know my views on Founders now, by the way.
That they're out on Rod J's BeerVenture as well as on there. And we have with us here the owner of Shoes Pub, Mr. Dean.
Hello.
Now these were back. This was back during the time when we had the Google Hangouts and stuff too. So that was interesting that we would have during that time.
Thinking I'm not going to get weighed down, and it's not going to be too light where it's too watery. This is really good, and I can also see it when it does get a little warmer. You know,
I like it. It has a very clean finish too.
I
would definitely agree on that for sure. Yeah. the technology glitches we dealt with back then were kind of crazy. So that was one that we had from one of the older videos there. But I can remember we used to have like 10 people or whatever, like almost on the thing. So I got one of those. Like that's one of the reasons I kind of limited a little bit more now because it would get crazy. Let me take a look here. Oh, here's one we had. This was a fun time. Share the screen. There we go. So for those of you that remember the Google Hangout days,
way, getting the bells and stuff out there. So we're doing our own little bootlegging there for a while.
yeah,
And not that I recommend it, and not that it's live on the internet.
look at Eric, like Thomas Metal, who was early in the stuff that we were doing. Just looked so young there.
The pale lager, but unfortunately, more
that's Eric Thomas Metal back in the day.
popular scenes with all that hockey.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get the Bell beers in New England, and I've always wanted to try some of those beers.
Well, we'll have to catch up because they're starting to get more common here, and I have to try to get you some out there.
Excellent.
Yeah, we had a problem with the bells there. They had a conflict with the distributor, and for a long time they would not, would bring the bells into Chicago. So what Bells did was they actually went ahead and said, "Hey, Chicagoans, if you come out and visit us, show us your ID, we'll go ahead and discount it for you." And we had a lot of people doing a lot of runs out that way, getting the bells and stuff out there. So we're doing our own little bootlegging there for a while.
Yeah.
And wow.
No idea why I was laughing like that, but
Yeah.
okay.
What would you rate that beer?
Go for it.
What would you rate this summer ale?
This, I'd say it's a solid 3.
It's middle of the road.
I forgot all about Nathaniel back in the day.
I mean,
Nathaniel, he was a beer reviewer as well.
I think it's one of their pleasant ones from Samuel Adams for sure. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get into my other one. So this is like my late season type beer, one they named after me, Arrogant Bastard. So Arrogant Bastard Ale. Since nobody laughed, I used a fake laugh. I don't care. So this one actually comes in at 7.2% ABV, a American Strong Ale. And I don't know if you guys have had the Arrogant Bastard or not before. You know, they're part of Arrogant Bastard Brewing, which is really a subsidiary of Stone, but Stone still has a name over them. And it has a nice kick to it. It's got that nice darkness to it, as you can see there. To me, an American Strong Ale is kind of like a barley wine light. So it's kind of along those lines, but not as strong as a barley wine. Yay, peer pressure!
We got Dan
So
on
I
here,
grabbed one that's got a collaboration.
Western Canadian reviewer. So if you haven't checked out Dan, make sure to check him out. But Dan was doing it longer than I was actually here on the channel as well. So I should send this video to him so you can just see how
Lakes Brewing
8 years
out of
ago.
Toronto and Central City Brewing out of Vancouver. It is the paired up saison, and it's a pear saison.
Oh,
A little lighter. It says to be in a tulip glass, but since I'm not drinking that much, I went with my taster glasses. As you can see, it's very clear, light or medium carbonation. Head stays quite nicely on it. It comes in at a mediocre 5%, and it's an ale made with pear juice.
Interesting.
You got to always enjoy the craft beer world, the stuff they come out with. But no, that's just great, just showing some of the old things we did back then. But I'm actually glad Google Hangouts isn't here anymore because the technology, when you look at it now, was terrible. It's like going back and watching a 1980s sci-fi movie and seeing how bad it was. So StreamYard, thank you for coming along, my friends. Oh, let's see here. Big Daddy picked up a Penelope Uncut the Younger, which is really good. 126 proofs, got it for 43. Super oily viscosity. Tried. Oh, haven't heard about that one. Okay. Very nice. Correction. Oh, from Smoke Wagon. Okay. And bring back the clean shaven, no glasses hat look raw for your anniversary show Thursday. Oh yeah, I actually do need to shave and stuff, but yeah, occasionally I'll go with the glasses or I'll go with the contacts. Just depends. And sometimes, most of the time now I have the hat. Sometimes I don't have the hat with the head shaved and stuff. So yeah, I mixed it up back then. I still try to mix it up from time to time, from now and then. So but no, it's just great going back and seeing some of the people and the videos from over the years and just, how things have changed and stuff. Hey, Bumpy. Well, thanks for swinging in, my friend. Great to see you as well. And yeah, some of the old vids there. And that should be like a segment we do on Thursday night happy hour. Just go to the archives each week and show an old video. Maybe we'll add that into the show. I think some people would love to get a kick out of what they looked like, years ago when they were on the show and what we were talking about and stuff. Cheers to you, my man. Thank you. And y'all haven't checked out Bumpy. Make sure you check out Bumpy channel. Bumpy does some really good stuff with the beer. He's also now doing the frozen pizzas and everything too. Make sure to show him some love and check him out. Bumpy gets some great beers up there in the Northeast, so no doubt. But yeah, so going forward, I would say things that, to bring to the channel, looking to bring some more fun beer stuff, looking to, again, tap into other things that maybe are not tapped into. Try to do more stuff with the community page, but also always provide comments, feedback, suggestions. I always love to see what you guys are looking for out there in beer. Feel free to let me know, and I can look to try to find some stuff there. This year, a goal will be to have more breweries on board that can come in and do some more interviews, like we did with Left Hand and a couple of the other ones with Go Brewing, and probably going to see a little bit more of the non-alcoholic stuff on here as well, just as people are trying to do a little bit more of the health conscious type things. I'll be sharing some of that stuff too. And, just kind of keep things fresh and going. So appreciate all that you guys have supported for over the years. This week we'll be back with another show. Speaking of this week, so this Wednesday, I'll actually be joining Tom the Beer Whisperer over on his channel. And I'll look to provide a link to that as well. But we're going to just shoot the shit around beers. And I think it's going to be about 8 Eastern when we do it over there. So stay tuned for that. But great for everybody that stopped in. Like I said, I know how long it's going to go tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get it wrapped up here. But I look forward to bringing you much more beer things over the next few years. And hopefully you guys keep hanging around. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I look forward to catching up with you guys all soon. Cheers, everybody.